Good morning. Welcome to Sunday. It's good to be back, and I want to thank uh, Marielle Gallego for filling in for me for a couple of weeks while I was traveling. Greetings to the people on Zoom, and greetings to the people I can't see on Facebook and YouTube. Happy to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about patience. It's the holidays, in case you hadn't noticed. Um, And one of the things that I'm aware of is it can be really stressful for some people. During my time as a therapist, it was a very stressful time for some of the people I worked with. And I think one of the solutions to that is to just be a little more patient with what's going on around us and with ourselves, especially. So, we're going to talk about that today. But first, let's meditate. Let's start by finding a comfortable meditation posture where you can be alert and awake at the same time. And gently close your eyes. And let's just sit quietly. Thank you for your practice. There appears to be some technical issues with people trying to sign in on Zoom, and I don't know what I can do about that right now, but I will noodle around with the technology between now and next week. And I apologize for that. So this week we're going to talk about patience. It's the holiday season, in case you hadn't noticed. And for a lot of people, that's a really good and joyous time. And for a lot of people, it's a really stressful time and everything in between. And during my time working as a therapist, the holidays were very stressful for a lot of my clients. People have expectations about what they should look like and how people should behave, and people feel pressured to do things that they usually don't do or see people that they usually don't see. And for some people, Christmas Day is like out of one of those Hallmark movies they show on television. And for some people, Christmas Day is like a Dali painting hanging in a Hitchcock movie, and everything in between. So today I thought I would talk about patience, emphasizing being patient with ourselves, because whatever your experience is appropriate. One of the things I've heard said, and I believe this to be true, if you want to know how enlightened you are, go spend some time with your family. I've heard it called the best way to pour Miracle-Gro on all of your issues. What happened in my therapy practice is things would slow down a little bit because people were busy and they don't call therapists so much during the holidays. Then they would go home and get a big dose of family, and my phone would ring off the hook in January. And one of the ways that we can take care of ourselves is just to be patient. Patience was something that was discussed by the Buddha quite a lot. It's one of the 10 perfections, the 10 perfections of the heart for awakening, and it's also an element of the Eightfold Path. The Buddha said there is no virtuous practice greater than patience, and I emphasize the word practice. We don't get these things. It's not like learning the multiplication table, right? Where we get it. We have to practice, like practicing the piano or a musical instrument, or learning a new skill. We continue to practice it. And the reason why I bring it up at the holidays is because there's sort of this standard of perfection that is sort of imposed in the media. The Currier and Ives thing, and those people coming home to happiness and joy, and on the television commercials. And there are expectations, but it's not perfect. It's never perfect. Nothing is perfect, or maybe everything is, and this is what it looks like. And Suzuki Roshi, the founder of the San Francisco Zen Center, was once asked, "What is enlightenment?" And he said, "Realization is imperfection without anxiety." Imperfection without anxiety. Being patient enough to accept things as they are. Which does not necessarily mean we're going to be comfortable. And getting what we want is a completely separate issue. And liking it is also a completely separate issue. But patience entails choosing not to respond reactively, allowing other possibilities to arise. It's a mindfulness practice of being in difficult situations taking a deep breath, noticing what's happening to you, not so much out there, but to you. Where is the stress in your body? What is the narrative going on in your head? Which it's worth emphasizing again, as I often do, that the narrative going on in your head is not reality. I recently caught a Dharma talk on thinking, and I'm going to do another talk based on that talk pretty soon. And one of the things she said, it was May Elliott, from a Dharma teacher out in California. The thought is not the thing. You may think that this is what the holidays are supposed to look like, but there is no supposed to. You may think that Uncle Dave is snubbing you because he's not coming this year, but maybe he's depressed or sick. The thought is not the thing. So how do we learn to continue to greet our experience, whatever it is, with mindfulness, loving kindness, and compassion and patience? I've seen patience described as gentle perseverance, gentle forbearance, being with what is, and continuing to be gentle with ourselves and with what's going on around us. Buddha talked about what he referred to as patience under insult, which isn't necessarily somebody hurling insults at you. It's patience under stress. Things are not going the way you want. You're at the Christmas table and Uncle George is drunk and angry and spouting off. You're at a relative's house and somebody is like having a fight in the kitchen. You don't want to go, and you don't have to, by the way. Or you're just plain having a great time. That's fine. Gentle perseverance, patience under stress, allows us to continue to find a way to be centered. We don't have to be swept away by the circumstance and whatever's going on, whatever everybody else is doing, or whatever anybody else is doing. We can acknowledge that, okay, this is uncomfortable. I'm feeling uncomfortable in this moment, and still decide to be okay. I'm okay. It just feels a little funky right now. And accepting the truth of that. It's a little stressful, but I'm still okay. Gentle perseverance, patience enables us to keep going when we're frustrated or discouraged. And the emphasis again is on gentle. When you're dealing with an unruly child, or you're trying to learn a riff on your guitar, or you're practicing a new skill like mindfulness. Mindfulness is a skill. We're going to feel frustration. Going down the road with us doesn't help us learn. Learning to say, oh, okay, I'm experiencing, I feel frustrated. It's like right here in the middle of my belly, and it's like my shoulders get tight. Okay, that's what's going on. Breathe into that. Now, some days are better than others with this. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I can do this all the time, but I do the best I can to remember it, and that's the best we can do. Patience, gentle perseverance encourages us to continue practicing or otherwise moving forward when it's easy and when it's hard. Dharma teacher Michael McDonald, not the rock singer Michael McDonald, Dharma teacher Michael McDonald said, gentle forbearance is a critical aspect of patience because it helps us restrain ourselves long enough to determine the most skillful action for the moment. Practicing patience when we're angry, when we're discouraged, when we're under insult. It's a good time to pause. In the literature of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a line that says, when agitated, we pause. Just pause. leave the room, take some deep breaths, or sit there and just breathe in and out slowly, breathing into our experience without attachment or aversion or needing it to be other than as it is. And being careful not to hurl our impatient energy at whoever or whatever we're feeling stressed out by, because that just perpetuates the harm and adds to the tension and all of that. It's just as simple as just taking another moment and then taking another moment after that. And okay, this feels a little weird, but I'm still okay. And reminding ourselves that we're still okay. I'm not going to get what I want, despite the illusion that impatience is going to help me construct a world more to my liking. It's time to slow down, breathe, investigate our experience, and remember that whatever is happening now is only the conditions of the moment. It's not permanent. This is not where we arrive. It's going to pass, as everything does. It's slowing down when agitated. Patience as a practice can help us alter our day and experience less anxiety, less stress. We live in a culture that doesn't honor patience. There's this stress on accomplishment and instant gratification. And impatient for some is actually a label that we use to create a self that does not exist. I'm an impatient person. We allow ourselves to believe that impatience and anger are part of who we are rather than simply feelings and mind states that come and go. Before I was a shrink, I was a newspaper reporter for almost 20 years. And reporters are not rewarded for patience. I mean, in a way you are, but you have to get it now, get it now, get it now, get it now, and you have a deadline, and you have to make things happen fairly quickly. And that's fine to do that in the professional sphere if you have to, but learning to be okay with yourself and your experience of that is what patience is. And we're all going to experience impatience at times. And we can learn to treat that as an opportunity for self-compassion. And the more we practice, the more we can see that these mind states, as they arise, just come and go. We can breathe into them. We can recognize them as they're passing. Like clouds, kind of wispy at the edges, really dense in the middle, then wispy as they pass away. So patience, like every other aspect of mindfulness practice, takes practice. It's itself a practice. And I invite you to explore it. And one way to look at this is through the lens of Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. He articulated 4 agreements that he said can enrich your life and lead to a healthier, more contemplative, peaceful, serene life. And I agree. And the 4th agreement of the 4 agreements are to be impeccable with your word, to make no assumptions, to take nothing personally, especially don't take your assumptions personally. And the 4th agreement, which is the one I'm applying here, is always do your best. And he defined your best as whatever you're doing now. So I may have done this better last week, but causes and conditions were different last week. I may do this better next week, but causes and conditions will be different next week. When I was a therapist, that was a really important teaching for me, because sometimes I felt really on top of what was going on, and sometimes not so much. But we're doing the best we can, and it's good enough. You are not going to sit bolt upright on your deathbed some decades from now and say, oh my God, my life is ruined because of that thing that happened in the holidays in mid December of 2022. You're doing the best you can, and it's good enough. And your best is going to change from moment to moment. It'll be different when you're healthy and a bit different when you're sick, and under any circumstances, simply do your best and avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. So, a couple more weeks till Christmas, another, I think, week and a day till Hanukkah. Kwanzaa is on the way, Festivus for the rest of us. I invite you to be patient with yourself, kind and gentle with yourself, and thank you for your kind attention.